Reinhild Niebuhr. I'm the founder of the Young Africa Vision. In this episode of Young Africa Today, I'm going to talk about the second of the strategic focus areas that I believe we need to develop businesses in at local level so that we can create local economies. And this strategy actually just makes me smile. I can tell you this morning, as I was waking up and thinking about what I was going to say in this particular video, I just got so excited because I'm talking about young Africa culture. Now, when it comes to Africa, the incredible richness of culture that is available on this continent, that has been developed over years in this continent, all the different tribes, all the different languages and all the different ways of doing things, it's absolutely mind-blowing, and so much of it is absolutely beautiful. And so I've worked with youth now for many, many years, and the creativity of these young people is astonishing. And so I thought, look, there's not much I have to develop in terms of culture. One has to develop in terms of culture. There is so much going on in terms of cultural industries. But let me apply my mind in terms of what I'm best at, and that is strategy. So I came up with a 5-part strategy of how we can promote cultural industries and how we can bring products to market along the value chain in the cultural industries. Now, the first of these strategies is very simple. It's really about helping every single person to sell things online, no matter where they are in Africa. I spoke a little bit about the community infrastructure yesterday, and the system that I designed, which is an online marketplace combined with a distribution network, is really one of those critical commercial infrastructure that Africa needs in order to be able to help entrepreneurs and creative people who are making things to move their goods from one point to another, from where they are to the person that wants to buy it, starting at the input, from sourcing the materials they need to create or to plant what they want to plant, and to then having access to the specialist knowledge. That's also something that we need to look at, but ultimately bringing this product to market. So I will be talking about the online marketplace and the platform and the systems that I set out to develop 7 years ago, and in another episode of Young Africa Today. Today I just want to focus on the 5 strategies for bringing cultural products to market. This platform, of course, also will be able to handle digital products. It's not just for physical products, it's also for digital products. And there we have such an explosion of music and movies and games and creative, graphics and photographs and all the things that you can make with your cell phone. And this is something that every young person in Africa can do. Use your cell phone to make money. Use your cell phone to be creative in expressing your creativity. I get so irritated when I have to look for photographs for the different websites and other, like these videos that I'm responsible for, because I cannot find African original images. A lot of what's going on in the stock library images of the world is from America or from Europe or from other parts of the world. I can't wait to be able to just go to the online marketplace that I've set up and look for photographs that you have taken. Take photos. Of course, there are a couple of rules that have to be followed if you're going to take photos of people. And so I will make sure that as part of the Young Africa website and also of the e-commerce marketplace, I set out the guidelines very clearly so that you understand that you need the permission of the person that you are taking a photo of. But anyway, I don't have time to go into all that detail today. I just wanted to say that there is a huge opportunity for simply selling digital media online. Poems, photos, creative designs, movies, music. It's just amazing. So it's not just about the things we make with our hands, it's about the things we make with our heads. So that is really around the cultural industries. Of course, dance is one of those things. You know, dance videos are incredibly popular. Now, dance videos you probably won't expect many people to pay for. However, if you have a very good dance troupe and you have a group that's disciplined and that's regularly producing fantastic videos, you can most definitely become an influencer. You can become a dance group that's becoming an influencing team. And in that way, you can attract the attention of advertisers on social media that want you to promote their products. And so God has just created such an amazing instrument with this whole internet thing and the social media stuff, always working through people, but ultimately the brain comes from God. So God's the one that creates all beautiful things. That's what, all good things, that's what the Bible teaches us. So all glory goes to God. Now, the second strategy is around an international marketing strategy. There are beautiful things all over Africa, but people in other parts of the world don't know about that and don't know about them. And so I decided to set up an international marketing cooperative called Made in Africa, MIA, not missing in action. Nobody's got to be missing in action. But MIA, Made in Africa. And to actually set up retail infrastructure all across the big cities and then very quickly at the airports. When I go to an airport, I always see the same brand names all the time, and I think that's cool, that's great, but we need an African brand name. We need an African brand name, and MIA is a beautiful African brand name. And so how it will work is that basically MIA will only focus on high value, extremely professionally made, very beautiful objects. Why? Because we need to change the way that the world looks at Africa. The world has been pumped full of images of hungry, sick children of Africa, and people get tired when they hear about Africa. They just think somebody wants my money now, I need to feel guilty that I've got something and I've got nothing. We've got to change that whole mindset. We've got people to think, wow, this talent, this creativity, is that from Africa? Did that little hungry child grow up to be this amazing creator, designer, fashion designer? And we need to create retail infrastructure. So now God is amazing. He really made it possible for Nico, my husband, and I to travel to Europe and America in 2017 and 2018. And I was again in Europe in 2019, and then I was in London last year in the middle of COVID, big disaster. But I understood a lot about what I hadn't been to the UK for many years. And visiting there last year really made me realize that I need a base in London very, very quickly. So it's just really exciting to be able to set up retail infrastructure. The spaces that I identified in Berlin were just mind-blowing. I can tell you that story is a whole video worth, and I'm going to talk about that once I arrive in Berlin, and I will tell you how the Holy Spirit moved me to identify the very particular spaces and places that I need to set up the marketing infrastructure for the first Made in Africa outlet. So watch the space. Please subscribe to this video, to the Young Africa TV channel, so that you don't miss out on these opportunities that I'm going to create in partnership with you. One of my friends was talking to me about this whole thing around my Young Africa channel, the Young Africa TV channel, and saying that they weren't sure why I was putting it on LinkedIn if I want to reach 200 million unemployed youth. And I said, look, I need adults. I need adults that are like-minded. I need adults with capacity. Africa needs you. Africa's youth needs you. Because you have the experience, and you have the skills, and you have your own creativity, your own set of networks to make things happen. There's absolutely no way that the Young Africa vision can be achieved by one individual. I'm just a person who has been granted a whole set of ideas that I believe were given to me by God. Really, I believe all good ideas come from God. And so I am just making these video series so that I can communicate these ideas to you and ask you, come, let's take hands. Where's your corner? There's a space for everybody here. I don't believe for a minute in concepts like competition. I don't believe in competition. I will never set up anything in competition of something else. If somebody wants to come and partner with me, I will pray about this and I will find a way to find a space for you. The only thing that is for me really important is that we must share the same biblical values. We must share the same biblical values, because the Bible says we mustn't join ourselves to somebody who has a different faith base. And that is really what is for me very important, is that in the key partnerships there should be a mutual faith base. But there are many opportunities for collaboration and cooperation and reselling and doing business where this is really not an issue. But it does become an issue when we are going to be working together in the strategic Young Africa instruments. There I need to be able to open the meetings with a prayer, acknowledging God, our Father and Creator, in the name of His Son, Jesus Christ. That's just a non-negotiable. I think it's really important to be clear about where one stands on these things, so that things don't get confused and confusing. But in terms of partnering to make this happen, we need everybody in Africa, no matter what your background. So please, when you watch this video and you've seen it through LinkedIn, reach out to me if something makes spark in your brain of how you want to get involved in the cultural industry side of things and in the Made in Africa International Marketing Cooperative. So that is the second strategy. The third is really about the marketing cooperative. The third infrastructure I've spoken about already. I mean, the third strategy is about retail infrastructure. And this retail infrastructure is not just limited to buildings and shops and franchises, in towns and cities. As I mentioned earlier on, I specifically want to make sure that we have a MIA outlet at every single international airport, alongside the big brand names that are already there, so that we can showcase the absolute beauty and creativity of what Africa has to offer, alongside those other high-value brands. So watch this space. It's so exciting. And if you want to get involved, reach out to me. Visit the youngafrica.info/culture website in order to find more information and also to find the contact field in order to reach out. I want you to just know that if you have emailed already, if you have sent an email already, please be patient, because at the moment I'm putting things in place. So there isn't anyone who's going to be responding to your emails right away. I am focusing my attention now on just getting the message out, and I have a team in the background that's working on getting certain systems sorted, and once they are sorted, then we are going to have people who are going to be able to manage any responses. So for now, just please subscribe to this channel. This is the most important thing. Watch the videos as I publish them, so that you don't miss out on potential opportunities. This business opportunity for everybody in the Young Africa vision. Whether you are in Africa or outside of Africa, it does not matter. There's space for everybody to get involved. The fourth strategy is something that came to my mind also about 15 years ago. And I am just so excited that I believe in the next year or two, once we have a network of Young Africa satellite campuses, Academy for Young Africa satellite campuses all over the show, that we will be able to pull this off. And that is a continental arts festival. Now, this isn't going to be one arts festival that's going to move from Harare to Cape Town to Nairobi. No. I want an annual arts festival that's moving from one city, one country to the next. We have 52 weeks in a year, and we have 54 countries in Africa. So some of the smaller countries we're going to group together so that they host their arts festival together. But for the rest, every week, we can have an international arts festival in a city, in a country, all across Africa. So starting in January, we can start somewhere. I was thinking the very first arts festival, we will start at the Great Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe. This was a hub of African leadership and creativity. And Zimbabwe is at the bottom of the list of countries because it's Z. But I thought that let's start from the bottom and work up the list and just mix things around a little bit for a change. So alphabetically, first week in January is Zimbabwe. So I don't anticipate this being possible next year already. I know these things take a lot of time to prepare. So let's say 2 or 3 years' time. Doesn't matter, we have time. But the idea is then every single week to have an international arts festival an Intercontinental arts festival in a different city. What does it mean? It means that we're expecting to have products from that country, of course showcased in the majority, but then also showcasing products from our fellow African countries at the same time. Why? Because we want to promote intercontinental trade. We want to be able to promote buying and selling across the continent. And we want to put a mindset into people in Africa's mind saying, made in Africa first. If you are going to look to buy something, look for the label made in Africa. Look for the label made in Africa and buy that first before you look at anything else. In that way, we can stimulate the local economy. So linked together with these Intercontinental Arts Festival, I've always dreamt about, the picture of the flame. And as I said in a previous episode, I love the short form of the Academy for a Young Africa, a fire, because it sounds like it's on fire. And so I just see this like an Olympic flame, like this eternal flame that's lighted at the tip in Cape Town, in the old castle. It's lighted there, and from there we have a relay race going from one village to the next across Africa. It also can be like, I thought we should actually do it like a cross, so right at the beginning, actually we should do it at the most southernmost point, which is not Cape Town Castle. At the most northernmost point of Africa, the most southernmost point of Africa, the most eastern and westernmost points of Africa, and start from there. And then, as the runners run towards the center of Africa, from north and south and from east and west, we have runners from all across villages across Africa joining them, and just doing a relay, just basically handing over a flame, so that right at the end, when we get together in that little section there between the DRC and Central African Republic, where the heart of Africa is geographically, that's where we need to build infrastructure for a huge space to bring glory to God. So I'm envisioning a huge space. It can be an open-air amphitheater where we must praise God and where we must have an absolutely huge gospel festival, praising God with all the languages of Africa being represented. I can't wait for this event, for the first event to happen. So again, if you are interested in being a driver of making this happen, please reach out to me. Let's start preparing for these things. Let's start working on it. So that is the fourth strategy. The fifth strategy is a strategy that actually I did not develop. I love this strategy. It was really originally developed, and I just built on it by a guy called Arno. I'm not going to say your last name at this point, but I just want you, if you watch this, you must just know that I am recognizing you as the originator of this strategy. This strategy is called the gold culture. The gold culture. And it's about really stimulating the production of precious minerals in order to serve as an instrument to transform the mining industry across Africa, away from where it is now, which is really not sustainable, to a completely different and modern mining industry. The key of the gold culture strategy is to set up jewelry hubs, jewelry creation hubs in town, in places where there are mining towns, and to actually develop the creative ability of the people living around these mining areas in order to create beautiful, beautiful handcrafted jewelry, high value items. And again, then use the Young Africa Channels retail system online and through the Made in Africa channels and the other related retail system for marketing this jewelry. Whether it is copper, whether it's silver, whether it is bronze, whether it's brass, whether it is gold. But it's really about and combining it with the precious stones and the semi-precious stones that we can mine here in Africa. So, but then there's another angle to the gold culture, and the gold culture is really around the gold standard. It's about saying that everything that comes from Africa, we as Africans must meet the gold standard. What does that mean? It means a standard of absolute excellence. We must focus on creating things that are excellent. This is something that I really learned, again, through my work with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, in particular in 2007. The Kellogg Foundation funded a cultural exchange program between artists, Native American artists and Southern African artists. What an amazing operation that was. So for instance, they would take highly successful silver smiths and jewelers from America that were from Native American background to spend time on Ilha de Mozambique. This is a little island off the coast of Mozambique where a lot of ships sank over the centuries. And so many of these ships were carrying silver coins. And so you have a whole culture of divers diving to find those silver coins and bringing them to the island. And the island is full of ancient, they're not ancient, full of modern jewelers using ancient technologies to create the most amazing silver jewelry. Now, that should be a tourist hotspot. Everybody in the world should know about this. It's a beautiful, beautiful tourist attraction. And so, I forgot to mention that one of the main objectives of the Intercontinental Arts Festival is, of course, also to stimulate tourism across Africa and into Africa from other parts of the world. We want people from all across to know that if they travel to Africa, there is an Intercontinental Arts Festival somewhere in that country at some point in that year that they can participate in, and that they can personally experience the explosion of creativity that our youth here in Africa have to offer. And not just the youth, of course, everybody, all established artists as well. But we specifically also wanted to be a showcase, an opportunity to showcase the talent of our youth here in Africa. Now back to the cultural exchange between the Native American artists and the Southern African artists. Another beautiful project that was happening at the time was around, so apart from the jewelry, was around the weaving, was around the fashion design. We did a fantastic fashion show where Southern African fashion designers and Native American fashion designers had an absolutely mind-blowing event at the Centre International Convention Centre in 2007. Beautiful, beautiful event. So the key thought that came out of that particular experience with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation for me was the focus on high-value items. The Native American artists had really found a way of making their cultural industries into a high-value industry. Across Africa, we have many, many gifted people that can all carve things and make little, bracelets and things. But the problem is that they are undervalued. All of these products are seen as low value because there is a lot of it. A lot of it is mass-produced in a way. And so it is, people are paid very little and they can't really build a decent life out of their creativity. And that is where the Native American artists have really decided to focus on producing high-value items, meaning they value their time. They make sure that when they produce something, that they sell it at a price that is a price that actually values their time, that values their creativity. And in that way, it becomes a highly valued item, not something that you bring in as a tourist souvenir and that eventually ends up in the dustbin. No, we need to have a gold culture all across Africa where we make sure that the creative expression of culture in Africa is valued. So let me use an example. For instance, instead of using imported glass beads for bracelets and elastic that breaks after a while, rather use real semi-precious and precious stones with real gold and real silver, or real, as the strings displaying the beads. Still use the same patterns, still use the same creative. I mean, look at this. I was putting this on especially today. This is a beautiful piece of African art. It's beadwork. And imagine if this was made of semi-precious stones. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the high value of this item and how precious it will be in somebody's collection? So it'll take practically the same time, a little bit of an adjustment of skill to produce this, but make it from materials that are highly valuable instead of imported glass beads. Africa has a lot of idiosyncrasies. For instance, the fact that we don't have a glass bead factory in this continent, but we have probably one of the highest productions of glass bead products. Let me just put that aside. I just hope that you will be as excited about the whole Young Africa culture and cultural industry strategy as I am. I can just see each one of our villages and towns having a hub, a cultural arts hub, where people are making things, makers are making things in a beautiful, high quality way, where the art is appreciated, where anybody visiting can go and find something that's unique to that particular area. Just in closing this episode, I've had many interesting people in my life. One of them was an ex-boyfriend from Germany. When I was working as a journalist in Germany as an intern, I met this guy. Very tall, very intelligent, very interesting. He came to visit me in South Africa. And I was driving him from the airport to where my parents' farm was in northern KwaZulu-Natal. And at every little village that we stopped, every little town on the highveld that he stopped, he said, "So what is this town known for?" And I said, "Mining and maize." Then we went to the next town. He said, "What is this town known for?" I said, "Mining and maize." Then we went to the next town. He said, "What is this town known for?" I said, "Mining and maize. Mining and maize. Maybe a bit of beef, cattle." And it was quite embarrassing. I realized that if I drive through Europe, every single town is known for something. We need to create towns and villages that are known for something. And the cultural industries is the heart of what something can be known for. So, I mean, it's something that we can apply our minds to creatively. And as we develop key economic driver industries in each town, they will be different. They will be different in different parts. So hopefully in 10 years' time, I can invite my ex-boyfriend and his wife to come to South Africa and we can do the same trip. And when we come to a town, he says, "So what is this place known for?" I can say, "It used to be known for mining and maize, however, now." Can't wait for that moment. I really can't wait for that moment. Thank you for watching this episode. I'm looking forward to the next one.